Oh, sorry.
Are
Sorry.
we live?
I don't know. There we go. Now we're live. Now
Oh,
we're good to go. All right. Had a button problem, but we're good. The Dream 3 podcast, back in your life, episode 22. We're going to talk about some World Cup soccer. But we got a very special guest today. But first, we get to it. Got to thank the sponsors that keep letting us do this show. Thank you. Slab Savers, protectyourslabs.com. If you use code DREAM3, you're going to get 10% off your order. Always use Slab Savers. They're awesome. Graded cards. If you have any graded cards and you ship them, make sure that they're protected. So go to gradedship.com. Graded
yeah.
card
Nobody wants
solution.
eBay returns.
Nobody wants eBay returns, especially this time of year when, you know, UPS is screwing up and the postal service is screwing up. If you use code DREAM15, you're going to get 15% off your order. Those guys are great. They got great products. And then finally, if you're tired of paying eBay seller fees, eBay prices, go to prospect.cards. That's www.prospect.cards. If you use code DREAM3, you can buy and sell products and get a 0% seller's fee. Zero. You get all your money for the first 2 months. And then after that 2 months, it only goes up to 2%. Where on eBay, you're paying 12, 13% on cards. And when you're like Neil and you're doing thousands of dollars in sales, maybe you want to have all that money. So
That's right.
gotta thank the sponsors. A lot of stuff has happened, but we're gonna bring our guest in here anyway because we can go anywhere with our guest. So talking soccer, this man is a member of a professional race team. He has many championship rings, but loves the game of soccer. Played hockey back in the day, so he's right up your alley, Neil. He is my cousin. Welcome, Josh Blackburn, to the show. Josh.
Hey guys, nice to join. Nice to be part of it.
It's been a while. It's been like what, since April? Since I've
Since
seen
April.
you?
Since April.
Since
yeah.
the big wedding, yeah.
Since the
right.
big wedding, yes, correct. So, Josh, let our listeners know kind of your background into cards, either the first anything you can remember, the first time you picked up cards, and kind of getting back into it, or where you're at now.
I think my reintroduction was you two back at the wedding and talking about it. But
That's true.
Growing up in the Midwest, everyone around here plays baseball, and I guess I grew up when what they would call the original junk era, the junk wax era, and like after every little league game, you got one of those little 10-cent packs of baseball cards, and everyone just kept them. And from the looks of it, everyone still keeps them. But that's what I did. I'm growing up. I kept all my stuff. I know Grandma, Caleb, our grandma, she bought me for one of my birthdays. It ended up being the 92 tops, the full set, like the full box of stuff. And then growing up, like you said, I played hockey growing up, and I was sick of baseball and baseball cards, so I collected as many hockey cards as I could. And then from about probably middle school to 2 or 3 months ago, I didn't collect anything. And started looking up cards after you guys talked to me, and I was like, because it's like, yeah, I've got some Ken Griffey Jr. rookies and something, maybe something's worth something, and it's like nothing from that. You could have any rookie ever, and nothing's worth the paper it was printed on back then. So, but like just with the last couple weeks, I've been super getting back into it just because I've gotten into soccer pretty big the last couple years, and that seems to be a market that, at least in America, is still growing and not like overtapped and oversaturated yet. So I've been having fun with it so far. So I'm kind of happy I know you guys do a lot more of this stuff and I'm just trying to see if like this little the strategy that I've got, it may work out, or if I'm even doing it in a smart way or not. So
Well, that's the good thing is like you haven't been in the hobby long enough, and you're starting to learn the ropes right away. And we've had plenty of conversations of sending me pictures of cards you have and this and that, and kind of like looking it up and seeing that they're worth a dollar or two here, there, and there, and then trying to when we came over and we kind of had a conversation to really like focus this path on. It's not just about buying and selling cards. It's about doing research. It's about like we even said like it's gambling on a player or somebody who you have high hopes for and believe in long term, if that's what you're trying to do to make that money, to make the big bucks. So with you being very big and into soccer, like you said, it's a very untapped market right now. The population counts and in any cards are so small in soccer and hockey right now. It's a great market to get into if you know who you're looking for. If you haven't, let's say, got already on the Mbappe train or the Holland train or something like that. So I think your expertise in this field of watching a ton of Premier League and a ton of soccer, you're able to find the little under the radar players that could do something big in the World Cup.
And playing FIFA, because I know it sounds dumb, but a lot of Americans like cards are what popularity, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's demand and stuff, and like a lot of cheat sheets for FIFA. When you're trying to find new young players or whatever, you've got a list of names that his potential is 94, 95 or something, and it's a guy that's on Red Bull Salzburg that you would never think, like, they're not in the Premier League, they're not in Austria or anything.
They're really good developmental club though.
Yeah. And just coincidentally, they're about to be in the round of 16 for the Champions League, and they've got a great up and coming American player, Brendan Aronson, on their team. If any of those guys score a goal, their popularity is going to go through the roof, and especially like just American traders or whatever. I said it's all just like popular names. Like, ooh, I saw him on FIFA. This guy might be really good, and his cards. Other people want cards of his. Yeah, let's take a shot on God, who is it? Kai Havertz. I know he's for Chelsea right now, and he's not doing too great, but hey, he's on my FIFA team, so.
And he's going to be a star for Germany's team, right?
Sorry, what was that?
I said, and he'll probably end up being a star for Germany's team come World Cup time too.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's a World Cup year, so this man, the stuff that I've been looking at buying, just the earlier, like if I'd gotten it earlier in the month, like early December or something, like the prices were so cheap, and now they're already starting to creep up. Like cards that were going for $20 or $30 the beginning of the month are already double that right now. And man, any player that just starts to, like I said, Brendan Aronson, he's about to he's a regular starter for Team USA every World Cup qualifying round. If he scores a goal, his popularity is going to go through the roof. He's going to be in the next couple rounds of the Champions League with Red Bull Salzburg. I mean, and Brendan Aronson, for just regular American people, they're not going to know that name. But if you get his cards now, come World Cup time, he's going to be already super desirable. Well, I got 3 rookie cards for, $150 altogether. Now I can sell all these cards for $500 later. In a grand world, that would be perfect. But that's kind of the thing I'm hoping for. So,
do you know how many what's it look like from the qualification table for like Team USA, Mexico, and the CONCACAF groups? How many games do they have left for qualification?
For qualifying, they're basically halfway through. So I think altogether there's going to be 2 more rounds of it, to where like they have a January camp, then they'll have a February camp. So this January camp, they're going to have 3 games. And it's going to be 3 big games because they're playing Canada, El Salvador, and Honduras, I think, is the other one. But the Canada one's a big match. And like altogether, it's going to be like out of CONCACAF, it's the same big 3 that are going to qualify. It's looking like it's Canada, USA, and Mexico. But the Canadian team's got like 3 or 4 real good prospects, 2 of which are probably the best players in CONCACAF, and one of which who is, I mean, there's like Alfonso Davies, he plays for Bayern Munich. He's the best player in CONCACAF. If he was on Team USA, he would be by far the best player. And then they've got Jonathan David, who plays for Lille, which is the same team that Timothy Weah is on for. He's a USA player, but he's a good scorer. And let's see, their third best player is this kid named Tajon Buchanan, and he just got sold from. He was on the New England Revolution, and just got sold to Club Bruges, which is like the biggest club in Belgium. And they're a great stepping stone to kind of like Salzburg is. So if he does good there, he's going to go to like a Bundesliga team or something. And yeah. And right now Canada's ahead of the group, and they've beaten Mexico already, and they've tied USA. I mean, it's, yeah.
Maybe that's something to look out for, is like, even like when you talk at Champions League, like you score a goal in Champions League and, you know, it may boost your popularity. Like, how much of that for like Team USA players, like scoring a goal against Mexico in the CONCACAF qualifying, or scoring a goal against Team Canada in the 90th minute, how much that's going to help boost popularity, definitely going into the World Cup. And if these teams also play on any of the Champions League's teams, you know, how much does that play a part as well?
I mean, it can only be good. Pulisic, he's actually been rumored that Chelsea may get rid of him just because they've got so much talent up front, the winger and striker position. But he just scored like an amazing goal against Liverpool, right? And now all of a sudden he's right back up to, no, we can't get rid of this guy. This is a world-class talent. And then the last game that we played against Mexico, he scored our first goal against it. So, I mean, it's just like you get these times where like Pulisic hadn't scored for us for a while, and he was injured. And you kind of go, maybe he's past his prime. Maybe he's just had too much injuries. And then he scores a goal. Oh, yeah, he's the number 1, Captain America. There he is. Yes. Give me all the cards. Give me all the cards of him. Give me all his rookie stuff. We need it. He's best. He's greatest. And so it's crazy how just one goal can just flip everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we saw that in the tournaments a couple months ago. Like, everybody was so high on Mbappe. Everybody was so high and Jadon Sancho. And, you know, you have one bad game or screw it up for your team or country, and, you know, you're taking that hit, you know, at the high price. And I know from experience, like Mbappe 9s of just the base tops Chrome card were going for 650, 700, 800. And now, you know, I rebought
that, right?
Yeah, but I had a 9.
Yeah.
And like I rebought the 9 this week for $135. Like, that's how much of a hit it was. Like the Sancho didn't even move. Like, think about it, if he would have hit that PK goal, like what that would have done.
Yeah.
So, you know, living and dying on these guys are, you know, per goals is kind of what you're going to be looking for. If you think about it as the stock market, like, you know, the more goals, the more assists, the more big plays, the more eyes you get, the higher your card and your popularity is going to rise. So I know, Josh, like, you actually went out to a couple card stores. You went to the Dugout in Indianapolis, and you went up to Indy Ball Card Exchange. Like, what were you looking for, and what did you end up picking up?
At first, I didn't really have a strategy. I think I was talking with you, Caleb, where I was just buying old junk wax crap, and then I was kind of like, hey, I can't assume Indiana is a big soccer market, like soccer card wise. So maybe let's see what the old junk card place down the road here had an MLS Chrome. It was a Topps Chrome box for it, and it got to me thinking, hey, there's got to be, if Daryl DK is in here. I mean, just like that. Then that kind of clicked in my head. Maybe go for the younger. Like, I'm past the Mbappe, Holland, that wave. I'm right past that wave. And also, I can't afford to be buying $1,000 cards and still coming home to my wife and kid and look, until I, like, it's a sure thing. But I can get a Ricardo Pepi or a Daryl DK rookie on the cheap now. Those two guys just got sold to big clubs out in Europe, and where they're going to start for their big clubs in Europe. And then they got a whole year of momentum building up because those two guys are signed on as strikers for teams that are fighting to get either promoted or keeping into their leagues. And I was like, that's a good strategy because the whole Team USA soccer team is built up of those guys. They're all like 18 to 22 years old that have just moved into new clubs. They're trying to get names for themselves and will be superstars in the next year or two. And so I was like, hey, maybe that should be just my strategy, is just buying young guys that I know, and it's always a gamble. They could pan out, they could not. We all thought Julian Green back in 2010, 2014 was going to be the next superstar, and he hasn't done anything. So it's always a gamble, but like, this is the golden generation for American soccer. And if I put my small in the grand scheme, it's small investments into these cards, and they actually like do well. Team USA should do really well in the World Cup. Like, my strategy is thinking that like having a whole full year of momentum of these guys getting into bigger clubs and doing well there, and then leading that as a jumping place for the World Cup. Like, only good things can come of that is my theory for that. So, but yeah, it's crazy. Like, you were talking about the Jadon Sancho stuff, how he's super popular. He barely plays for Manchester United. And that's just
barely
this
play
year.
for the English team too.
Yeah,
this past Euro.
Yeah.
And I think he only started the game right after he said he was getting, like, right after he got sold to Manchester United. He played that game, and then after that, he didn't touch the field.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's also a thing that those teams are so stacked. I mean,
they are. The talent
the
level is
the 23rd man on the roster for France that won the Euros. Did they win the Euros? I totally just
no, it's Italy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Italy, and they may not even qualify. They got to play Portugal. If they lose to Portugal, they're not in the World Cup. It's crazy.
That's the crazy part. It's either Italy or Portugal's not going to make the World Cup.
Yeah. That's
like. Can you imagine Ronaldo not playing in the World Cup?
Oh, that'd be terrible. Think about everybody who has
39 million years old, so
he still plays at an ultra high level.
But think about everybody who's got like 14 Prism World Cup Ronaldo cards who are banking on them making it.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, you're banking on them, but what happens if they do make it? Like, what happens if Ronaldo comes out and scores 3 goals, gets a hattie against Italy, and they make the World Cup? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Then it's through the roof.
It's through the roof. It's absolutely through the roof. Now, going kind of back to Josh's point, so by all means, like, you're playing the baseball route. You're looking at the new up and comer guys and kind of banking on them long term. By long term, when we think of cards long term, we think in 6 months, year, 2 years. Like, my investment, like we talked about, if I can make 3% on my investment over time, That's a win. So even if and you can't afford the rookie Holland cards that are $10,000, $5,000, but you did pick up one, I think at a fairly good price where even if, and I think it's a 2021 card, tops, and it's a pink Pulsar. So it's not a base card. It's got some shine to it. So you have something that you can make your 3 to 5% before the World Cup happens, or anytime Holland does anything. I think you can sell that double of whatever you bought it for. So even buying stuff in that range, whether you can't afford the rookie card, you can't afford the auto or anything like that, finding those, those smaller deals where I'm paying 50s to 80s and I can sell it for 100, 150, well, then I'm making it up and I can start reinvesting into my collection and start building it up, building it up.
Agreed. Like you don't have to do 3-figure, 4-figure, 5-figure cards. Everybody's at their. The good thing about the hobby is like you can enjoy what you do and collect, but everybody can do that at their own level. Like someone may only appreciate having 6-figure cards, where someone may only appreciate having, Antonio Brown cards in their collection or something like that. So I think for everybody, there's a point that they can get in, but there's a point that they can also work within if they want to try and invest and make money and gamble a little bit in the players, but they can also collect the people that they like and they want to collect over time and hand down to their kids or whatever.
Or just have fun and like use it as either the stock market or a way to keep up with, who's hot and who's not. I told you, like, I haven't bought very many hobby boxes this year because of how expensive everything is. But the best hobby box and the most fun I've had opening stuff this year is that 2021 OPG Platinum hockey box. Like that was a fun rip. Like they're $120 for a hobby box. Like I would rip those all day long.
Yeah.
It's just
when you were telling me the prices for that, I was like, are you kidding me? Like what? Yeah. That's still beyond my comprehension because I'm still thinking like junk wax era, like $10-15 for the full bot, like $325 for Formula One cards. What are you talking about?
Like, $325.
There's only like 20. There's only 20 guys in there. Who else are you getting? Like, is there really this big Nicholas Latifi craze or something? What's going on?
Dude, Formula One is like, I'm glad it's a downtime just to see what that market does, but Formula One is crazy.
And
crazy high too.
What's it going to do next year? It's going to peak the first time Topps or, if Fanatics produces it, whoever produces it next year, which I'm sure is Topps.
I don't think Fanatics can officially make cards till 2023 though.
Okay, so then we'll get it.
They own Topps.
They own Topps.
Topps owns the rights, so I guess yes, they can make cards next year. But I don't think Fanatics is ready to make cards.
Think about here's the craze. It's not going to be Lewis Hamilton next year. It's going to be the first picture of George Russell in a Mercedes uniform. That's going to be the hot card that everybody wants, guaranteed.
And I tell you what, George Russell's probably going to win a race before Lewis Hamilton does.
Really?
He almost won he should have won in Hamilton's car when he replaced him. Yeah. They say he got a puncture, but
team orders.
Yeah. That was to save some embarrassment. That was some politics going on there. But
because I think so. You have the Topps F1 craze. You can't get
which is crazy to me. Like I still don't believe it. It's like you told me that there were like Lewis Hamilton cards were going for $10,000 or more, and I was like, Lewis Hamilton cards? What are you talking about? Like,
he had no idea. So Josh had no idea.
I had no idea
F1 produced cards.
So Josh, let me ask this: on your race team, how much do your guys pay attention to F1?
They do. Everyone does. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How much? And you travel all over the world, right? For the most part.
Yeah.
So you were in Italy not too long ago.
I've been to Italy once, but all over the United States I travel. Yeah.
So how much do you see where people like these other, either drivers or these other crew members like appreciate F1 in a way that maybe just us normal Americans don't understand. Like we like it because it's a new hobby and it's a new craze, but like what's the appreciation level of foreign people on F1?
I would say, sorry, I was saying night to my little ones going to bed now. Which Neil, you know about that.
Yeah, I
And
just put
Caleb's
mine to
about
bed
to
at
know about
8:30
that.
or at 8.
I got a month.
But I think now Caleb with drag racing, it may be a little different just because it's such a different form of racing.
Mm-hmm.
But Formula One with I've worked in IndyCar and I work in the IMSA series now. It's kind of something that everyone pays attention to, but like not like in an awe type of whoa, the F1 guys. I hope we're there someday. It's more of like that's the peak of Euro racing. So that's what just everyone does on the Sunday is watch the F1 race.
Yeah.
Or at least pay attention to what the results are. But and that just goes across all of racing because you're in the sport, you love it, so you're going to pay attention to the pinnacle of it. But give you a good example, Caleb, my sister Mary, she lives in Dallas, Texas. Formula One's raced in Austin the last 10 years. This is the first year that she's known anything about it. And she was like, is it because of that like Netflix series that they brought? And I was like, Mary, they've been racing there for 10 years. Well, this year was like super crazy. So yeah, I think that Netflix series has a lot to do with the overall popularity of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I still don't think just the general population know anything about it other than Lewis Hamilton, just because I think he's the first F1 guy since Schumacher to like actually break into like pop culture with all the stuff that he does, which is great. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it keeps growing. But
So
yeah, that's still just foreign to me, like baseball cards of Formula One guys. There's only 20 of them. How many sets of cards can be with 20 guys?
Mm-hmm.
That's just weird to me. But
so does this continue to go on that popular path, or is it going to go like, in America, it's popular because of the Netflix series. It has to be. There's no other way because, like you said, you and me are in motorsports industry, and I care about F1, but not like I'm going to record it and go back and watch. Like I'm just going to look up to see who won. Like if I see the highlights, I see the highlights. But people are just now getting into the seasons of Netflix of it, and is it sustainable? Like the card prices of it, like paying $9.50 a box for Topps Chrome, like is that sustainable for something that races in the US next year will be only twice?
I mean, that's so hard to answer because I can't even understand how it got popular in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Maybe
I was just looking on eBay and My Slabs, and there's like there's like dozens of different types of Lewis Hamilton cards, and some are going for 50, and some are going for 10,000. And the 50 card still it's still a refractor card, and it's like because my new head, it's like okay, if it's like sparkly and shiny, that's a little bit more than the regular stuff. It's like, well, both of these are sparkly and shiny, and both of them have Lewis Hamilton in a car. Why is this one 10,000 and one can't go for 50? I don't understand that. I mean, I think it gets popular more if there starts being like more than just Max versus Lewis. If like George Russell becomes like an actual title favorite, then all of his fans can get into the craze too.
If Mick Schumacher could get off of a crappy car and into something good.
Is Lando the other guy in Red Bull?
No, Lando's in McLaren.
It's Perez.
Perez is still there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Your
So
other
George
big
Russell's really the only big name.
in America, like you could say your second favorite person America for F1 is Daniel Ricciardo. He's the closest, popular culture wise, because he's in with the Donut Media and the race service guys out in LA. He's always out here. And, he's big on social, which the other guys think of like Kimi Räikkönen. Kimi Räikkönen could give two shits about anything
Oh
in
yeah.
the world.
I think
So
Lando Norris. Before we preface any of that, I think it could blow up this next year too, because all the cars are going to be brand new. So all that lead that Mercedes had, if they've screwed up, build it or went down a wrong direction designing this new car, they could be in last place. I mean, it's
and the salary cap goes into place, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I still don't understand how that is because
there's a salary cap on your team.
Yeah, they can only spend $150 million in the year.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So if you wreck a car, like you're gonna have to like pinch pennies. So I've heard that even Ferrari
like, has 2 mil, 2.5.
I have no idea.
What wheel nut are you talking about? I mean, yeah, 2.5 probably cost for that, but
I know the steering wheel is about $5 million.
Yeah, it's
on the F1 cars. See, when my dad was in IndyCar, they would put together the cars for the 500, and they'd be probably about 1.5, 2 million.
Yeah, that's the IndyCar.
Yeah, it's IndyCar, but I mean, like,
1.5 million is still a lot. Like
what?
Our prototype car, like we're the factory Acura team for IMSA, and that's around the same price that our car is. But I mean, you have the whole weight of everything in F1 is specifically designed for that specific car. And America and every other racing series, it's all like homogenized, and everything is it's like kit cars almost, but super expensive kit cars. And it's all just to keep the cost down, because it's having a racing series where each team has to spend $300 million is not sustainable.
No, not at all. Not at all. And like
I guess that's my naiveness and not knowing, but that's crazy to think that
So when we were sponsored by Toyota, and Toyota was involved in F1, they were sponsoring at $100 million a year and not seeing a return.
Yeah.
Like, think about writing $100 million check and not getting anything back because of it.
I'm pretty sure. I don't even think NASCAR does $100 million in revenue.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
No, they've had to cut back a lot just because all the sponsors are leaving.
Yeah.
And because IndyCar, they went through a time like when all the tobacco money left in the like mid 90s.
Yep.
Like before that, IndyCar teams, they had a test team full of different crew guys that would just go out and test their tracks. And then that was all separate from like the race team that would do all the stuff. And then they had a whole team at the shop. And that's kind of what F1 is right now. They've got teams of guys doing separate things. And now you've got one crew guys doing everything.
Yeah.
Just because you had to make it more efficient because you can't just throw money away. And NASCAR has had all those separate teams the last few years. And now, man, the pit crew for some of these NASCAR teams, that's all they do. Like they go over the wall and they're like, yeah, man, I get $100,000. Some of those guys are making $100,000 just to
change
do
the tire
pit stops
4 times.
Yeah. Like I drive the truck and I still do pit stops, and I still take care of the tires and help with fuel stuff. I mean, don't get me started on some of these like TikToks and bullshit from NASCAR pit crew guys talking about how hard they work.
I love it. This is great.
Yeah, those guys suck.
So F1 has no excuse too, right?
No, I mean, I kind of actually, when I was working on another IndyCar team, there was a big Honda event out in Japan, and I didn't get to go to it, but the crew guys on my team came back, and this was when Honda still had a Formula One team. back in the Jensen Button, the Bar Honda days. Actually, all those crew guys were asking our guys, "Hey, are you guys hiring? Because you guys get paid more than we do," which was crazy. Like all these F1 teams, they pay a crap ton of money to their engineers, but the crew guys apparently they don't get paid nothing.
Nothing.
They get paid hobo money
to me.
That's interesting.
That's great.
That's very
that's
interesting.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. You would think with how much money that they have.
It doesn't. It doesn't. But you look at, like, if you've never been to an F1 race, like the monstrosities that is, the pit alley, the hospitality units, like, they're there a week
pageantry.
beforehand. Yeah, like it's a mini town when they come in and set up, and yeah. Could you imagine? It takes 3 days to set up and tear down those hospitality units, which is crazy. When we do it for drag race in an hour and a half to 6 hours, depending.
And it's the race team guys that are doing it, right?
Yeah.
We don't just like leave as soon as the race is over.
Oh,
we got all this stuff to still tear down. So.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. When we won Las Vegas, that was all great. But then I was there until midnight tearing all the stuff down so we could go home next day.
Oh, our big race is the Daytona 24 hours. Guess what happens after we won our race? We're up for 40 hours straight. We celebrate. We get to celebrate for about 10, 15 minutes. Then it's, hey, go and tear everything down.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, there wasn't like any free time to sit back and celebrate.
Nuts. So let's move.
Yeah, we got soccer to talk about.
So what are you looking forward to as far as the World Cup goes and the Champions League? Like, who are your guys that you like? Who are teams that you like? Who are World Cup teams that you like? World Cup players, things like that.
Like my strategy, obviously, not going for the Messi, Mbappe, Haaland. Haaland's out of the Champions League actually with Dortmund. So, but my strategy was kind of like, all right, what's going to grow in value that may be exciting to think about. And when I look at there's this kid that's on Ajax. They're the big team from the Netherlands, and his name is Ryan Gravenberch, and he doesn't have great stats for Ajax. He's like a center midfield, but he plays for the Netherlands, and he's one of their starters on that team. And I actually almost got into a bidding war. His cards are flying off of eBay right now for hundreds of dollars. And guys like I said, the Salzburg guys. There's not only is the Brendan Eriksson who plays for USA, but Kareem Ediame, he's the striker for Salzburg, and I think he also plays for Belgium. I don't remember, but it's like he's got time, and everyone that watches Champions League knows Salzburg's not going to beat Bayern, but if they can get like 2 or 3 goals and showcase themselves, that's going to, like, everyone's going to be watching for Bayern, and then, oh, who's this Brendan Eriksson guy, this American that I didn't know American was playing against Bayern and scored? Who is this guy? Let me look this shit up. And then it's like, he actually plays for Team USA, and he's been playing for last year. He's really good. Let's keep up with this guy. And then they hear the names in the World Cup playing. I mean, yeah, it's Salzburg's a good bet. And then that's what I was just talking about him. For Bayern, he's one of their star defensive players, Alphonso Davies. He plays for Canada, so he's going to be showcased in the World Cup. And I was telling Caleb too, jumping off the Alphonso Davies train a little bit, is every year there's like 1 or 2 teams that, oh my God, how did they make the semifinals? I think 2018 it was Croatia and Luka Modric, who was pretty popular at the time. He was a good player, but that just skyrocketed him. Uh, I forget what team he plays for now, but he became a superstar. It is like Croatia. And you guys think of Croatia as a soccer powerhouse?
No,
That was
You
when they
need
had
to point to
Rakitic,
Croatia
didn't it?
on a map right now. I mean, I couldn't,
I
but
can't.
actually, it's by Italy because we drove through it. But um, but USA and Canada are primed to be teams like that because they've got like 4 or 5. Canada's got 4 or 5 like superstars that are going to be able to showcase themselves, and
Do
people
you
are going to
think
be
they're
like,
better
"Oh
than
wow."
USA players?
Hmm?
Do you think they're better than USA's players?
Not. How
You
do I
can't.
explain this?
If you can be
Canada.
honest, if Team USA sucks, Team USA sucks.
See, that's the problem. Is Canada 1 through 4 is better than USA, but USA, 4 through 25, the rest of the people on their team are far, far and above better than Canada's. So they should easily
Gotcha.
win. We've got a really bad coach, so that's the only thing I'm afraid of when it
You don't
comes to
like
World Cup
Berhalter?
time. And it's Caleb. Let me put it in football terms for you. Imagine having Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. I'm a little older. I don't know any of the new Colts guys.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, but your head coach loves the triple option, and that's
Okay.
all he wants to do.
All right.
And he's like, I know we got Peyton Manning, but Joe Schmo over here is great at my triple option offense. We're playing him. How insane would that make you?
So basically, it seems like every time Team USA is in a prime position or has great players, it's the coaching. And it's always been the coaching. They've had so many coaches over the last, 10, 15 years.
I don't think any of that comes close to what's going on now, because this right here, I know that people have probably said it the last couple of times, but this is by far and away the golden generation for USA soccer. I mean, beforehand, we had Landon Donovan and Clint Dempsey, and then a bunch of guys that played professionally, but they weren't good. We've got 20 guys on a team that are stars that play for European clubs, and that should be like, we should be dominating World Cup qualifying right now, and we're winning some games, but it's like we lost to Panama. Like, how do we do that with guys that are starting for Barcelona? Serginho Dest is a defender on our team. He starts for Barcelona. We got a guy that starts for Chelsea, and he gets played out of position for Team USA. Like, it's like, what is going on? We should easily be winning some of these games, and it's like the coach is like, I've got my triple option system, and if you don't learn it, then I'm not going to play you. And it's like,
so you think Berhalter is the problem right now?
100%, he's the problem. Weston McKennie, that's another great kid. Starts at Juventus, the best team in Italy right now, and he's another great kid that's on his way up. He obviously is up already, but he didn't get to play at the last World Cup, so this is going to be his first time to actually showcase the skills that he's got, and to prove that, hey, this American soccer is here. Because actually, there's a lot of things going on over in Europe where, like like at Juventus and Barcelona, especially at Chelsea with Pulisic, every time something bad happens, a lot of the blame is usually put on the American player, even if it has nothing to do with what Barcelona is looking to get rid of Serginho Dest, and he's their best defender. And their coach over there is putting a lot of blame on him. And it's like, okay, then all right, whatever. So this is a time to showcase what we can do. So I'm excited for it.
do you think here in America we are blinded by the fact because we love sports so much that we neglect how good we really are comparatively to like the top 10 countries in soccer?
That
Like the way I can give an example is, and Caleb can probably attest to this, is probably over the last 2 years people have talked about Christian Pulisic like he is the next god of soccer. But in all reality, Christian Pulisic probably doesn't crack the top
there you go.
50 players in the world realistically.
Honestly, I think he does with the 50.
But he's probably not top 25.
Yeah, no, he's not that
Like maybe
good.
he cracks 50, but he's definitely not 25. So like it's kind of like people's the way that like Caleb and I are given information is like, oh, Pulisic is the next Jesus Christ. He's going to be Messi. And it's not that.
Well, I think it's because that people look for a new Captain America. You don't have the Clint Dempseys anymore. You don't have the Landon Donovan. You're looking for somebody to get behind on Team USA, and right now he's it.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, are we censoring how good he really is though? Because like in reality, I think like if you look at all the other teams around Europe and that we potentially would be playing in the World Cup, like Belgium and Germany and England and France, like I think if we're comparing ourselves, it's probably really not even close. We shouldn't win that game. Win a game in any instance against those guys. But like it just seems like we're censored to the fact that we probably should look for like making it to the round of 16 is probably a really, really strong showing for us at the World Cup. And we probably should be okay if we just make it out of the group stage. Like that should realistically be the goal. And then if we excel past that, we did well. Like that's at least what I'm hearing from watching or listening to other podcasts, listening to other soccer card hobby enthusiasts who are European, who kind of look at things from the other side of the perspective.
I would lean to agreeing with what you're saying, but I would say that was definitely the case like in the Landon Donovan era. Like, to us, Donovan and Dempsey were, that Captain America's the best ever. And Donovan went over to England and barely, like, I think he had a one good stint with Everton where he scored a couple goals, but that was like he was loaned over there for 6 months and came back here. And Dempsey had a good career over there. He played for Tottenham. Go Tottenham. But it was like he was like the guy that he scored 5 or 10 goals on a year loan or something, and then came back here. I don't think you can say that with these guys. These guys are Christian Pulisic. Now I know that's the number one guy. He just played on the squad that won the Champions League last year.
You're correct.
Serginho Dest, who's one of our starting, he starts for the Barcelona. Like, that's not fake talent. That's
it's
real.
A top 5. It's a top 5 club in the world.
Yeah, that's top of, like if you get now, and Juventus for Weston McKennie, they paid like $50 million to buy him. That's not. Are you good in America and nowhere else? I think the main thing about soccer is it's so weird that it's a very popular global sport. Like basketball and football are American sports, and basketball is spreading, but America is still the best, and it's going to be the best. Like, we produce the best talent, and it's no other country really comes close to that. But I think soccer is the one sport that is somewhat popular that we're underdogs. Like that's hard as an American to embrace. Like, well, I mean, I embrace the underdog because when we win, it's like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
every other sport, it's like, okay, are these guys are our guys going to blow it and lose? Like, that's the only way we would lose.
You can
in
say that with
stuff.
Team USA hockey too.
I mean, yeah, but no, I mean Russia. I mean the Nordic countries, they always have good hockey.
Of
Finland's
course.
always up there, man.
Sweden,
Team Solani,
Finland,
what are you talking about?
Russia.
Sweet.
Yeah,
always
Russia. But what's and I think I've heard other like European podcasts and stuff too. They kind of downplay American talent, but the squad we've got is far and above better than what we've ever had. So what we are right now is what I see a team like Belgium was in 2014. They had players like Divock Origi, who now play for Liverpool, but a bunch of like young superstars.
Wasn't
Remember,
that
they
when
ended up beating us.
Lukaku's
They were the
first
team
year?
they were the team that shot 30 shots against Tim Howard, made all those saves in that game. But they ended up making it to the semifinals of that year. But that's where we should be this year. That young team that doesn't know how young and immature they are, but they're just super off the charts talented. So, I mean, I just think it's more of that global thing to where we're not used to, like Nigeria. Nigeria's got a super amazing team with talented and stuff. Like how is that in the same sport like football? That wouldn't be a conversation, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't have to pay attention to Belgium football players. What are you talking about? So it's hard to get your mind around like this being a popular sport globally. So it's just, to me, it's more fun like that because I like college football and basketball a lot better than pro just because there's so many teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of why soccer has gotten more popular with me recently. So
Gotcha.
if that made any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I think I think you're right. It's kind of like we're good, we're better than what we used to be, but at the same time, like we kind of have to go out and prove it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have to show people, like, yeah, you got people who play over in Europe, but okay, what are you going to do with that now? You know?
Yes.
So
that is a good point. And hopefully they all get a chance to showcase that.
yeah, I hope so. It'd be nice to root for Team USA and not sit on the couch watching other people play.
Yeah.
So, Josh, if you're investing in, let's say, under the radar players into let's pick World Cup, who are probably your best under the radar, not top tier players, but guys who you think are going to make a splash? Where if you're investing in, whether it be raw cards or tens that you can get pretty cheaply, that where you can make that 3 to 5% back, who are the players that you're looking into?
Man, honestly, and there's another American bias here, but man, Ricardo Pepi. I mean, last year at this time, no one had ever heard of him, and he was a bench player for FC Dallas, and now he just got the record transfer fee for any MLS player moving over to Europe, and he's the starting striker for Team USA. What's he going to be like a year from now after the World Cup? I mean, if he gets to showcase what he can do at the World Cup and he scores goals, I mean, that to me is like a super meteoric rise, and all he's got to do is perform well. And he has up to this point. Like, all he's done is show that he's a world-class player. So, and he's barely 18. And I just got almost a whole sheet of rookie cards of his with like refractor. I don't know the terminology yet, so don't hate on me. But for like under hundreds of dollars, under $100. You can get graded, SCG, SGC,
SGC.
SGC, whatever.
Love it.
I'm new. Sorry,
I love it.
but SGC 10s for like under $100 still. And last year at this time, you couldn't even get a card of him. So he's only going to go up. So that's good. Then other people, like Brendan Aronson, I've mentioned a bunch this podcast. He can only go up with what he's doing. He scored a few goals already for Team USA. Daryl Dike is another guy. He's another striker for Team USA that just moved to England. He's going to be playing for West Brom, but he's going to get called into the Team USA. And I mean, these are full of just 18-year-old kids that are like kicking out all the 28, 30-year-olds, being like, no, it's my time. See ya.
Yep.
You mentioned before Kai Havertz. Like, what's your thought process on him, like with the German national team?
Well, I mean, the German national team, that's the number one.
Yep.
And what's hard with some of these national team guys is like Jadon Sancho, superstar, barely plays for Man United, So there's some guys that just like that, and Gravenberch, who plays for Ajax, I mentioned too, where I've they're going to be playing a lot for their national squads, but they may not play very much for their team squads, like the European squads. So it's like maybe you buy now at not a super high price or anything. Hold those for a year for the World Cup, and if they do have a great couple games for World Cup, everyone wants their cards all of a sudden. Hey, I just have 4 or 5 of them right here. You guys can argue about prices over for that. Another young kid for Team USA, Yunus Musa. He's a superstar for USA right now. Plays for Valencia. Barely plays 10 minutes a game. He never really starts, but it's something where you wouldn't think about it because they never start for their actual team. A defensive player, Chris Richards. He's signed to Bayern, but Bayern loaned him out to Hoffenheim, and which is more of like a mid to low tier German Bundesliga team. He plays, but it's not a great team. But he's going to be a superstar defender on USA. If he has great games in the World Cup, then his stock rises. That's the kind of things that I think about when looking at these cards. Kai Havertz, yeah, I mean he plays on a Chelsea team where they've got 6 amazing superstar strikers. Like Romelu Lukaku is
for Belgium.
He just had a big interview where he's like, I want to go back to Inter Milan. I don't like being here. Which is, I mean, you just won the Champions League. How can you not be happy at Chelsea? What are you talking about? But yeah, so some of these guys where you kind of have to know a little bit about like, hey, if you just said Kai Havertz, you're like, wait, why would I get a card of this guy? He's got 1 goal in the last year and a half. Like, well, no, this guy's going to start for Germany in every single World Cup game that they're in. And Germany's a pretty damn good team. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he may not get like a lot of stats or a lot of looks now. But if you buy, I mean, that's what you want to do with stocks, right? Buy cheap, sell high. Like, that's my thought process on some of this stuff.
Any other guys that you can think of not Team USA? Maybe underrated players on some of the top teams. I mean, because realistically, it's like with any other sport, if you win the Super Bowl or if you win the World Cup, if you're playing on that team, you're going to see a bump in your stuff. Mm-hmm. So, like, if you really think like England's going to be the team to beat in the World Cup, it's like whoever beats like England's going to win it all. Do you invest in Harry Kane? Do you try and take a flyer on, Sancho or Mason Mount or Phil Foden or something like that?
Or even the kid that missed the penalty shot in that who was his name? Bukayo. So I can't pronounce names, but Bukayo Saka. He plays
Yeah.
for Arsenal, but he's the kid that missed the final penalty shot in the Euros. But he's still going to be on that team. And you don't think he's going to be raring to get some redemption in the World Cup after what happened last year?
Yeah.
He's another like 19-year-old kid. Kingsley Coman. He plays for France. He starts for France. He also starts for Bayern Munich, but he's another young guy. That's another guy I'd buy for. A guy who plays for Belgium, and he plays for Club Bruges. Is Charles de Ketelaere. I don't know if I'm not pronouncing it right or not, but he's another kid that is in that 20 years old range, but he's going to be starting for Belgium. Belgium is like one of those, young, full of talent teams that should make it out of their group. And any of those guys, it's that's my thing, is more finding the young guy. Like everyone knows Mbappe, everyone knows Harry Kane, and if you got the money to buy a $5,000 card so you can flip it for $10,000 afterward, that's great. That's awesome. But I'm more at the level of, hey, maybe buying a $50 card now, and if it does great, then you could sell for or a lot more afterwards. That's kind of my thought process on that.
More prospecting, more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Not
Little
going
longer,
so mainstream.
longer term investment. But Neil, on your side, like if you're thinking, let's say we are kind of prospecting, what cards are we looking for? Are we looking for the rookie cards? Are we looking for, so you're thinking always go rookie no matter what? Or
always go rookie, but I think only because soccer doesn't have like the same like insert cards that basketball and football have. So like if you think about basketball, like people want the downtown or kaboom.
Yeah.
They don't exactly have tons of those in soccer, so they are still valuable. But at the same time, like with national teams, I like it. Mbappe, it's the easiest one to talk about. With Mbappe, like if they're playing in the World Cup, you probably want to go with like a 2018 World Cup, which was his rookie World Cup, because that's like his first World Cup card, and he's in the France kit.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of stick to that logic. So if I'm buying Ronaldo, I probably want to look at his Mega Cracks rookies. But if I'm not, I would look at like his 2018 or 2014 World Cup kit, because he's in the World Cup Portugal uniform, and people are going to want the Portugal stuff when they watch the World Cup. They're not going to necessarily want, him and his whatever. I don't even know who he was wearing at the first one. It might have been his Mega Cracks might have been actually Portugal, but I don't remember.
Okay,
so I mean, that's what I would be looking for.
So go rookie, or if we're in a World Cup year, the rookie of the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can't go wrong if you go like 18 Prism World Cup for Mbappe, but you also could go 17 UEFA Topps Chrome, and just go with the one where he's in those kits. Like, even though it's a club team, it's still going to carry some weight because it's Mbappe. You know what I mean?
And you really have to do your research on which card you're looking at, because you got to know that in some variations of the card, the picture variation is different from where the ball might be. He might be dribbling the ball. He might be taking the ball off the chest or something like that. And
you gotta know what the premier rookie card is.
Mhm.
So like
you got to
using
know
like the new hard
nuances.
ladder or something is really easy to know that, because you type in Mbappe and it's going to bring up the best card of his. So the first thing that comes up is his base PSA 10 2018 Prism World Cup. So like clearly that's the biggest card. It's, I mean, if you really want to look at it, it's got the most population count, which when we think about basketball and the population of 2018 Prism basketball and Luca, how many are PSA 10 Lucas there are? Can you look that up?
There's like 14,000, 15,000.
Yeah, there's 3,000 Mbappe Prisms. So
Mhm.
like you're talking, he's 1/5 of the population. So, and all eyes are going to be on soccer, and well, it's in November. That'll be an interesting time.
Which, speaking of, I saw an interesting stat last night. PSA was given stats of like cards they were grading, and this
Yeah.
is kind of good too. Like, I don't know if the stats were by week or by month. That basketball, they were grading 48,000 cards. I don't know if it's per
I
week or
think
per
it's by month. I remember seeing this.
So it was 48,000 for basketball. It was 30 something for football. And then you go all the way down, it's 7,000 for soccer and 4,000 for hockey. So
Yeah.
if I'm smart, I go to the low pop and try to start learning that game because, like you said, the lower the population, the more the card is valued.
Yeah. And I will say this, when it comes to soccer, we're in a good position if you are investing in soccer, that you know that the products that they've made are not super super high print runs like they are in basketball and football.
Yes.
So you
Yeah, that's
know
what it
that there's a
seems like.
limited population as to Mbappe. So like I can pretty much tell you there's not going to be another 10,000 Prism 2018 World Cup Mbappes that come out. There just wasn't
Yeah.
there wasn't that many made.
But
So
Josh, like when Zion came out, we all thought that the Zion Prism stuff was going to be so low run print that, you know, the raw cards were going for $500-$600. Now
okay.
you look at the population report, a Prism PSA 10, just the base card, is over 25,000.
I was just actually listening to a podcast where they're talking about the rookie Zion card and how everyone thought that was going to be super popular, and now PSA, are they still like a year and a half behind on doing stuff? People are going to get their Zion cards back, and it's not going to be worth what they just paid to get it rated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
anymore.
if you got it graded, I'm trying to think. If you got it graded, let's say last like July or August for his first full season,
done.
you're probably not getting it back.
No.
You probably just got it back, and if you did, it's worth 1/10 of the value of what it was then.
And tell me if I see, I'm still new at this game, but in soccer there seems to be uh like they'll make different versions of the same card,
Yeah,
and
different like short prints.
like short prints of stuff, but it'll be like the green prism,
Oh,
and then
parallels.
yellow and gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, parallels.
So
Yeah,
like,
parallels of that stuff. Yeah,
so like
and it'll
this
be
one's I don't know if it's rainbow or if it's orange, but it's numbered out of 165.
yeah,
Yeah.
and there'll be lots of those, and that almost makes each of those. Everyone seems what I've noticed is that just drives that price up too. If you've got like a card that says like 50 out of 150, but there's like 10 different versions of that. So is that the same with like basketball and
It's
football
worse.
cards?
It's worse, way worse.
Oh, it is?
Like you think it's bad with soccer? There's like 20 different parallels and 20 different variations just for Prism basketball.
Yeah.
And they're selling for 10,000 each. Like
Yeah.
it's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and
it's
people
stupid,
are
but I
still
mean, it's good
buying
if you're in the
Zion.
selling game. So that's
It's good if you got it early.
yeah.
But
And see,
now
that's
it's almost like it's ridiculous.
that was kind of my thought process too of going soccer and the younger guys, is because most of these guys I'm talking about, their rookie cards are 2018, 2019, and 2020. Like I haven't seen a card on eBay that's before 2018. I haven't seen like one yet.
There's really
So
not a bunch.
So it's easy to find these guys with the little RC on the card. It's pretty easy to find that, but people are still paying a lot for it.
Yeah.
So it's good. I like the treasure hunt part of the card stuff. So that's kind of fun.
I like switching it up. So like one thing that I've done is because we talk about population count all the time is sometimes you can find a card that it's pop one. There's only one that's graded, and if I can't go rookie, I think of going GOAT status. One of the greatest players of all time. Somebody who you like or respect. Like I was able to come across this Randy Moss card that's PSA 10, and it's a pop one. There's only one of them that's graded. And it's this one. So
You're
just
the
to
only one
have
that
it,
wants that card. So
yeah, well, straight cash, homie.
Did you see what I just posted today on the pickup?
No, I did not.
So Mikey's cards.
Yes.
He posted he had a flawless game used patch auto of Randy Moss from his
I did see
New
that.
England days.
I saw that.
So I bought it.
There was another one on eBay. It was at the 101.
Yeah, and the guy wanted like 6,000,
seven grand for it. Yeah.
Yeah, something stupid, or it's
Well,
like 7,500. I don't know. It was really
And
expensive.
then Neil tried to, as I'm in the doctor's office, as Stacy's getting her ultrasound, Neil texted me, "Hey man, you want to buy this Tom Brady rookie card for $3,000?" And I'm looking at Stacy and I'm looking at the baby on the monitor. I'm like, oh, maybe.
Yeah, Durkee.
Maybe.
Durkee, he bought that from me pretty quickly, so I shipped that out today. Hey, I got another one. You want it? 13,500.
No, that's your rookie auto, isn't it?
No. It's the Fleer Showcase. We sold that one. We sold the rookie auto, which I'm really actually kind of butthurt about.
Are you?
Don't even give me the Aaron Rodgers. Caleb, get off. Aaron Rodgers for MVP. Don't even give me that. He looks like a straight trash homie.
Really?
Oh. Well. Aaron Rodgers, total hobo.
So Caleb, how much money could we make in racing by just snipping up all the driver suits and putting that on cards? For if they can do it for F1,
we can do it.
No. Yeah. Like I was telling you, last year we had Elio Castroneves and Alex Rossi driving the 24-hour race with us. I mean, those are one of those guys just won the 4th Indy 500. I mean, I could easily
wasn't it?
I have like 10 or 15 of Cruz's fire suits just sitting there like waiting to get thrown away. Like,
yeah, like you can make like 1,000 little sports cards.
So NASCAR's done it with Panini. NASCAR's done, all this. They have the fire suits, the 101. So like, the booklet, and then it has like the full sponsor logo patch in it and this and that. But the NASCAR cards don't do that well. Like the market is just
garbage. Do you really think hillbillies are going to spend money on cards over tobacco and Busch Light?
No.
Hey, you know what? In like 98, 99, they would have.
Yeah, they would have. That's right.
But
they would have done that 10 times over. They would put it all on the card.
Not so much. I mean, you have to find that niche and something that, like we've said, like with F1, why is it popular? Because it's got eyeballs because of a TV show. Like there was nothing exciting about NASCAR except now there's no practice. Qualifying is the same day as the race. Like there's no,
and they don't want to fight each other after the end of it. So
So like there's nothing to get excited about.
Agreed.
So, last thing, kind of off topic, but I want to go college football playoff system.
Yes.
Does it need to be expanded, or are we sick of already seeing SEC teams in there every year?
Who were the best two teams in the country at the beginning of the year?
Bama and Georgia.
Who were the best two teams in the country at the end of the year?
Bama and Georgia.
Did we need to see a playoff where they just housed everybody?
You know what? Before the playoffs, yes, we did need to see that. But once it happens, once Michigan just decides to not show up.
Agreed. I'm going to be honest. I was on the side where I thought Michigan had a chance to win. I did not see Georgia coming out and playing like they did.
I mean, especially after Georgia got their butts handed to them.
Oh,
And
they
now
got
we're just-
smacked around like a redheaded stepchild
Ah.
by Alabama.
But see, then you have some years where Utah beat Alabama in their bowl game, like 10 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Then everyone always wants to see David have a shot against Goliath, but it's those times where Goliath murders and rips apart David. You go, we really didn't need to see that. That was.
Is it like every time Notre Dame's been in the playoff for like
Oh
the
my
past
God!
5 years?
I think they dodged a bullet with Brian Kelly leaving. That guy sucks. That guy was awful for coaching for the playoffs, man.
Well, you gotta remember though, Notre Dame like has certain stipulations that you have to abide by to get in there. So like you actually have to be decently like intelligent to be able to go there.
I think Brian Kelly got Notre Dame to get rid of a lot of that stuff because they've been able to recruit guys that they never were able to before that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they can't go down and get Alabama kids and Florida kids.
No, I mean, yeah, but I mean, they still have talent on that team. Yeah. But
it's just Alabama and Georgia. They're better than everybody.
So what do you think, Josh, about this whole transfer portal thing? About it's basically free agency of college football where, hey, I don't want to be here anymore because my coach left or I'm not getting the playing time. And instead of
get paid enough
and not having to drop down to the FCS level or Division II or Division III for a year before you come back up to have automatic playing time where, Caleb Williams, was it today that announced that he's going to leave Oklahoma after taking over for Spencer Rattler? Now, he can go wherever. He's either going to go to North Carolina for where his girlfriend goes, or he might follow, to USC. But,
he's going to North Carolina.
There's just so many everybody's moving. Like there's the transfer portal, and that doesn't even guarantee that you get put onto another team.
In my younger days, I would have said, that's bullshit. I don't like that. But honestly, if a coach can do it while getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars, well, maybe not hundreds, but tens of millions of dollars, I mean, we got to take this veil off in front of our eyes. Like all this bad stuff that we think isn't happening in college sports, it is already. Kids are already getting paid. So, and kids are getting paid, and 1/10 of these kids are actually going to make it to the NFL. So this is these kids' professional career in college, basically. So who does it hurt to be able to transfer to a different school? Oh, I selected here. I'm not getting playing time. Let me go to a school that gives, to me, I don't see the harm in that.
Yeah.
And what would it have done? What good did it do to require the kid to sit out a year for wanting to transfer?
Yeah.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, this isn't hurting anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually, that's the first I've heard about the transfer portal stuff. But I mean, that's what they do in soccer. I mean, they've got anyone can transfer really.
And you look at if you watch the LSU game last night where they got thumped 42-7.
Yeah.
Who would they play? They had 35 kids dressed for the game. They only had 6 coaches, which were all grad assistants or assistant coaches left over.
Because everyone left after.
Everyone left. They had they had 4 quarterbacks to start the spring training. They had 0 on the roster last night. They had to take a wide receiver who hasn't thrown a pass since 2016 and make him play quarterback.
Now, see, didn't that make the game more fun? I mean, come on.
If you're playing LSU, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Before Brian Kelly gets on his his fake Louisiana accent talking about family,
go Tigers.
Also, isn't that crazy? They only had 35 kids playing for the team just because Ed Orgeron left. What were they even doing there then in the first place?
Well, is it because Ed Orgeron left, or is it Brian Kelly coming in and cleaning house?
Yes, all of the above. D.
Because now that you got the transfer portal, you have another coach. Well, I didn't bring you in here. I'm going to take your scholarship, because scholarships are not 4-year things. They are not even a year thing. They are like a week to week thing. As someone who's been in a Division I program, I know coaches that will rip your scholarship at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
So, rebuilding teams and stuff like that. You look at Miami. Like, Miami brings in Mario Cristobal from Oregon. Now they bring in the strength coach with the sweetest mustache in college football. They're spending.
Didn't they take their offensive coordinator from Oregon too? They brought him in.
Mm-hmm. And they just got a really high-priced wide receiver coach. Like, Miami's finally all in after firing the athletic director and everything. So maybe there'll be actually something to watch in the next 4 or 5 years.
It'll be weed speed on the East Coast instead of the West Coast.
Fine with me. We get to watch something fun instead of have to stay up till 11 o'clock at night to watch kickoff of a Pac-12 game.
It's true.
Ugh, those are awful.
They are
Makes Pac-12
terrible.
less appetizing now.
Absolutely. No wonder why no kids want to go out there. You're never on TV.
Nope. Not anymore.
So I think everybody's wasted another hour and a half listening to us babble on, but we appreciate Josh coming on, getting into the hobby. If you have any questions, me and Neil are always here to answer your questions at all times, and anything that.
Or if you've heard of something stupid I did or bought, feel free to call me up and go, what's wrong with you, dude?
But you do need to use your Instagram so you can communicate with me and Neil. So if you do buy something, send it to us so we can look at it. Or
What's
if you
the
have
biggest card you bought so far?
I don't want to say the price, but it's
why? I'll tell you what I bought.
Okay.
So that way you can feel less bad about yourself.
Your wife's not going to watch this. It's okay.
No, it's not. Okay, so I paid $250 for that Tajon Buchanan kid. This is his rookie card. That was it's the special. It was the one of the limited Bowman series, and it was the gold overlay, and it was pop of 1 of 2 or something
out of 50.
Yeah, something like that. And I was but I felt good because the guy wanted it to sell it for $400, and I got it to $250. So I was like, all right, well, at least I knocked him down for that.
Too, it's not like you have a lot of comps to go off of. So.
Yeah. Wheeling and dealing.
Hey, gold is that's one of the new fads right now in all sports is everybody wants the gold over any other variation.
Yeah.
So you picked the right one in that case.
Because you'll find out that little nuances matter. Like, gold's hot right now. Some people like
team color match.
So if the refractor matches the color of the jersey, so if you got a Larry Fitzgerald and it's a red refractor with the red home Cardinals jersey, that's popular. Some people collect, if it's a number card, if the first number matches the jersey number. So let's say, if
Pulisic it's a LeBron number 23 out of 23.
Yeah, so if you had a Randy Moss jersey and you had the number 84 card out of 199, you can drive the price higher on that because it's a jersey match color card. So, there's all kinds of stupid little nuances that you'll figure out. And
I like the icy sparkle. Or ice,
the sapphire or the cracked ice.
Yeah, the cracked. I just like the name of it.
Yeah.
It's sparkly, it's shiny, icy. Yeah, that's cool.
I'm glad you bring this up because this is a good point to just future reference. The eye appeal of a card is very, very important. Nobody wants see,
that's pretty. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Michael Vick, it looks beautiful. Nobody wants a Christian Pulisic with an orange background, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
That just looks stupid. But they'll pay happily for something that's maybe more readily available, but is a blue background because it's blue and it matches Team USA colors, or it's blue and it matches Chelsea's colors,
And Panini's kind of figured that out because, they went way overboard with Mosaic. Mosaic was just all shiny. They tried to copy Prism because everybody likes the shiny stuff. And then it was just way too much shiny.
Yep.
Holy
Everything
crap,
was-
my eyes hurt. Shiny.
Yeah.
And now you're
Like
searching
all those Merlin,
Tops Merlin.
yeah, the Topps Merlin, they're all like chrome and stuff, and it's like these are just base cards, but they look like, I mean, they're like £5 per card itself, and they look like they're special, but it's just a base card.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm
like,
trying to
yeah,
remember some of
the
these.
Mbappe Topps Chrome. Like, this is just a base card, but it's
Is
Chrome.
that the 9?
Yeah, it's the 9.
Did you hold it?
No,
You just bought back in?
I sold and bought it back in. I got this for $130, so I
Yeah,
sold
I'm
it.
kind of
at
thinking I need to
$250.
buy into more Mbappe and some other ones now because it's
I got it.
getting a little too cheap for me.
Found it cheap. So once again, thanks again, Josh, for joining us. Thank our
thanks for having me.
sponsors, Slab Savers, Graded Card Solutions, Prospect Cards, and Nation Golf. So remember, follow us on Instagram, Showtime Sports Cards, Doughboy Sports Cards 1. We're live on Instagram. This will be up on Spotify tomorrow. So if you're driving in your car and you want to listen to it, well, this is episode 22. So you got a big old playlist to listen to. So until next time, I don't know if we'll do one this Sunday. I doubt we'll do one on Monday because I want to watch the national championship game, but we'll figure it out.
Maybe
So-
next week we do one for the playoffs.
All right, we'll do one for the playoffs. The Colts going all the way. Jonathan
Heck yeah.
Taylor for MVP,
All the way
boys.
into the ground.
all the way to the
Jonathan
top.
Taylor tailback.
Hey, real quick.
Oh,
If
no.
Jonathan Taylor is being put in the MVP conversation, Cooper Kupp should be number 1. That's all I'm saying.
All I know is if that guy who from Chicago who said he's not voting for Aaron Rodgers because he's a jerk and he's a terrible person, may I remind you that O.J. Simpson also won this award.
Who was also acquitted. That's all. I
If the
mean,
glove don't
Yeah.
fit.
Yeah,
must
he
quit.
wasn't proven to be a bad person. Aaron Rodgers, we at least know is.
Well, which is harder, slashing defenses for 2,000 yards or slashing 2 necks in one night?
ooh. Or dating Danica Patrick. That, I mean,
Ooh,
Well,
he's a
That's bad.
saint for that.
when you're
but,
5 foot and bow legged.
I
look
mean,
like a cowboy.
All right. Well, until next time, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. Have any questions, send them over. Until next time, peace.